Hey guys, it's Ghost here, and I'm here with my friend Adam Miller. We have a very interesting deck profile here today. My friend here got top 8 at the side deck regional. As of recording this, it would have been yesterday, but when I'm uploading this, it would have been 2 days afterwards. So he got it Sunday, January 5th. First off, congratulations on your top, man. I thought the deck was dead. You have any thoughts, anything you want to discuss with the format moving forward?
Tenpai has always been my favorite deck. The right before the ban list, I participated in the YCS side deck event. I ended up going 6-3. If they had more, I would have been able to get into it because I got, I believe, 63rd with Tenpai.
Okay.
Other than that, I think probably once the new stuff comes up from the Supreme of Darkness, Tenpai will relatively be dead because there'll be a lot more interactions in order to stop the Tenpai. But it'll be interesting to see how Tenpai performs once the new Supreme of Darkness stuff comes out.
Well, regardless of the format changing in the next few months with the new set coming out, seriously, man, like, nice work. Like, I was not even personally on my radar at all. Like, super impressive work. Right there into the top 8 spot. I heard you had a few stories you wanted to tell the audience about your experience playing at the side deck regional yesterday. So just wanted to let you share that with any viewer here who might be interested in not just Tenpai, but just playing a rogue deck in general going into regionals and YCSs for the upcoming season.
Right. So the biggest thing that I wanted to talk about was it has been about 3+ years in the making for me to get my first ever invite ever. Not just for the season, not for just the format, ever. Like, I've been playing Yu-Gi-Oh for about 3 years strong. I started when Tier Limit just came out.
Oh wow!
So yeah, it's been a rough journey. I'm talking. I would travel with my friend, Paul. That's his name. And then like a couple other people to like Jared and all those other guys in the Kansas community. But yeah, I've been on the grind trying to get my first invite ever. Like I'm talking. I traveled from Kansas all the way to Indianapolis, which was like a 9-hour drive just to go to a regional. I went to like 2 to 3 YCSs trying to do the regional fights to try to get an invite. I just been trying. Funny story though, when I first got back into the Yu-Gi-Oh community in Kansas, my first deck ever was Marincess.
Marincess? Oh, I see.
Yes, I didn't know about any of the hand traps or nothing. My deck was literally just 100% 40 cards of just straight Marincess cards. So you could just imagine how that went.
I'm not gonna lie, Marincess gives me like a bit of PTSD. I always used to struggle to beat that deck in locals. I don't know, just Cypress decks in general. Like, I cannot get through them, man. Like, they're pretty strong. I don't know about Marincess now, but I know that it's still overall a pretty solid rogue deck if put in the right pilot's hands. So yeah.
Oh, for sure. My buddy, his name's Julian. He loves Marincess. He talks about it all the time. He sits there and gets on our butts about it and lets us know that Marincess is still best deck. He is a fantastic pilot, but yeah. So basically continuing on the story just a little bit, right? Like I said, I've traveled so much. I've spent so much money. I was so dedicated to getting this invite to go to nationals with the boys. And finally, my first invite ever was me getting top cut in a regional. And that was super exciting for me.
So happy for you, man. You did great.
Yeah.
I have some questions for you, if you don't mind, before we get into your deck profile. So I was looking here at your deck list because Tenpai is kind of famous for being a shifter deck. I don't know about now, but like I noticed that you're not running shifter. and you're running a Fiendsmith Kashtira package in your deck. And to anyone listening, we are going to do a deck profile for a minute here, but just want to know, what is your like thoughts, like why these tech choices for Fiendsmith, for the main decking Fualos, because some people cite it, as well as running the Kashtira package? What was like your mindset for it, and why do you think that helped you reach your goal of getting your invite? And what was your original initial thoughts when you first put them into your deck going into the regional?
So basically my thought process was like, I've always been going second with base Tenpai right before they got hit on the ban list. So I guess it was just kind of like a mind thing of just me always wanting to go second. But in all reality, when I spoke with like some of the people that I play test with, they like suggested to me that, you know, you kind of want to have something to back you up if you lose the die roll, and you know you have some going second cards, right? So like Fuaris is like your going second card if you lose the die roll, because a lot of people in this format like to go first, like the Rizio players and the Malice players. They want to set up their boards and you know try to stop you from doing whatever they can. So that's kind of why I made that, you know, tech choice to put the Fuaris's, excuse me if I'm mispronouncing the name, but putting the Molcharmy in the deck for the main deck because of that particular purpose, knowing that if I lose the die roll, I know that I have some cards that I could see that would back me up going into a Rizio board or going into a Malice board, you know, because we all know Malice summons at least like a bajillion times with their link monsters and from deck and everything else.
Oh, yeah. So I mean, it's a Cybers deck, so I can imagine the link spam must be quite insane. So
yeah, and then the draws from that are just amazing. So
did you do you miss Shifter at all, or overall are you pretty happy with your choices?
I'm very happy with the choices. The reason why I didn't run Shifter is because I'm running relatively a 2-engine graveyard reliant like tech choice, which is the Bestials and the Fiendsmith stuff. So I didn't want to contradict the Shifter with the with those two tech choices, and then also knowing that Malice really doesn't care if you play Shifter, you know.
One more question here. What would you say like your most favorable matchups are and your like least favorable matchups are right now, just from your experience in this format?
So I would probably say, I wouldn't say favorite. I would probably say interesting. I'll just go based off of what I won against in the regional. So one of the matchups that I had, I believe it was round 4, I won against Memento. Yeah, granted, Memento doesn't really end on a lot. They do like a lot of stuff. But you never know what they're going to end on. You never, like, unless you're like a super really good player and you know all the possible end boards. I'm okay at like best for me, you know, if I'm being humble here. But like my thing is that what was interesting about that was he won the die roll. He went first. He made his board. I lost that game because I didn't know how to interact with certain stuff, right? And then I was able to reverse 2-0 him, which was really nice because once I found out what he ended on and what his board looked like, I knew where to interact. And I felt like that was the way throughout the rest of the stuff.
Nice.
I would probably say my least favorite would be a very good pilot with Rizio, right? Even though Rizio is not that hard to stop, you know, if you ogre that duo drive or ask the duo drive or just stop the duo drive, right? A good pilot will either put something up like to prevent you from stopping the duo drive, but I'd probably say my most like non-interesting match, which was probably a struggle for me, was against the guy who got second place at the regional, and it was really hard to understand him because his accent was so strong. So like I was trying to ask him a lot of questions about what he was doing, what he was trying to do, his counterproductives, like all that stuff. But basically, I misplayed like crazy. He had duo drive on board, and then he made a detonator, and then all I had in hand at the time was an ogre, right? So he put the detonator on board. He activated duo drive's effect, and then I tried the ogre, forgetting about the detonator being able to protect if one of the XYZ monsters that they control would be destroyed by card effect. So that was a misplay on me.
Okay.
But yeah, I'd probably say those were probably like my two like interesting, non-interesting matches, because it was some very intriguing gameplay that had to be productive during those games.
Okay. Cool. All right. Well, honestly, interesting stuff, man. Just not trying to praise you too much, but congrats again, man, on just like getting top 8 with this deck. You know, topping a deck in any regional is already difficult, but topping with a deck where you're not really the favorite. In fact, many people saying that you're like, first off, a lot of people know what Tenpai does, so there's no surprise factor to it already, and no one was expecting it. Like, no one was like, oh, it's dead. Like, everyone thought it was gone for.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Anyways, so for all the Tenpai players probably watching this channel, let's get into the deck profile. Okay, guys, let's get started here with my friend with his deck profile here. So let's get started here, Adam.
All right, so before we get started, basically what I want to say about this deck is that the Tenpai engine is basically your last thing that you're going to do when you're going second. So like you want to bait out everything as much as possible, and then you do your Tenpai line, and then you pretty much OTK through that. But yeah, we'll start off with the profile. So it's 2 Hydra, 1 Chandra, 1 Genroku, 1 Fadra, 1 Sangan Summoning, and then 1 Kaiman.
Okay.
RIP these 3 cards right here. RIP. But still, like, these ratios here are just fine. You don't need to change anything with them. There was a good line that I sat there and was playing around with. So basically, you would normal summon Hydra, activate Hydra effect, grab Sangan Kaiman, activate Sangan Kaiman, get Genroku, activate Genroku effect. I mean, some people probably already know this, but you make Genroku rank 4, or not a rank 4, but a level 4 tuner, and then you use the Hydra and then the Genroku to go into Bident, go into or grab Genroku, and then you can do the Genroku effect since you didn't activate it the turn that you summoned it. So then that goes into like more stuff to out the board, or potentially get Transcendent on board to stop all your stuff. So then we go into the Bestial package. Standard package, 3 Rebellion, 1 Magnemite, 1 Druid Worm, 1 Baldrake, 1 Regained. This is pretty standard. Most people play this when they normally play it. I've seen some people play 2 Druid Worms because more or less the Rizal players who are face down to a Druid Worm, they're scared of it. They don't want their detonator to go, and yeah, it's just big bungulous monsters. I would probably say this is probably the second best engine in the deck, which is the Fiendsmith stuff. This is a very powerful engine. This is like a lot of people are on it. Everyone knows about Fiendsmith. It's just good. But yeah, I got 3 Engraver, 1 Lacrima, 1 Lurie, 1 Tract, and then 1 Fiendsmith in Paradise. This card right here has single-handedly won me at least 2 games, like 2 rounds, just because all like what people would do is they'll like, if I negate their dual drive, if I negate like all their other stuff with the Razio or the Malice or stuff like that, when they would special summon something, I would activate this, And then obviously everyone knows the line by sending the Desiree to the graveyard, activate the Desiree effect, and then put it back. And then sometimes people just pass on that with an open board, and then I have literally Hydra in hand to go OTK, which is insane. And then we got the small, everyone loves this package, the small Cashier package. We got the terraforming, we got the race off, and then the 2 Fenrirs. Funny story, even though this is in my deck, I have not seen it or used it a single time this entire regional that passed.
Oh my gosh. That's so
not
funny.
a single time. Every time that I play test, I would see it, but it would literally just be discard water for my Sangan summoning.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And then we'll get into the hand traps. I feel like these are probably the best hand traps in the format right now, besides what's in my side deck. But you got 2 Ogres, 3 Imperms, 3 Fuwalwiths, 3 Ash Blossom, 3 Nibiru, and then don't judge on my 3 different rarities of Effect Veiler.
Effect Veiler is such a classic.
But yeah, so that's pretty much my hand trap. MVP of hand traps is probably the Fuwalwiths, of course. Like the Molcharmies coming in the format is probably the most craziest thing, because once I get into my side deck, I'll show you exactly why. But we'll do the extra deck and then we'll get into the side deck, because there's a little bit of a story that I have to talk about with that.
Sure. Yeah, no problem.
So shout out the best anime in the world, One Piece.
Love the One Piece.
So we have.
Well, love the One Piece mat too. By the way, looks fabulous.
Oh yeah, shout out Pyramid Gaming for that. Pyramid Gaming hooked it up with the mat. So we got the Tenpai stuff: 1 Transcendent, 1 Trident, 1 Vident, 1 Hermetic Seals. Hermetic Seals, very good card. All the Dragon Link players who are watching the channel would really love it. I'm gonna leave that card for last because that's the best card in the game. But yeah, then we got the Fiendsmith package, which is the 1 Requiem, 1 Sequence, 1 Augment Day. Then we got the Moon, the Necroquip, the Desiree, and then the King Caesar for the Fiendsmith stuff. I used all of this throughout the regional. I never once needed to use King Caesar or Necroquip, not a single time.
Okay.
Could have won me games if I did, probably not. I just never seen any time to use it at all.
Do you think you would cut them at all, or?
I'd probably keep the Necroquip.
Just for the body?
Yeah, just for the body, but the King Caesar, I really didn't think it was necessary in the deck. Some people really like to go into it because it's just a special summon negate. But yeah, so then we got Old Reliable SP. We got Chaos Angel. We have this batter. And then, yeah, so I'll leave this card because this is, again, the best card in the game. I never really used the Disbatter besides like once in a game just to shuffle back some stuff to draw into my Tenpai stuff, but that was about it. I never used the Chaos Angel. Will I keep it in there? Yes, because Chaos Angel is really good, especially if you're still playing the Fiendsmith stuff. And then I feel like SP, regardless if it gets hit, it doesn't get hit, it got reprinted, I feel like SP is a mandatory staple in your extra deck, because this has grinded me so many games, and being able to draw into stuff that I need, surviving a turn just by banishing like a starter from somebody is really, really good.
Nice.
So here is the best card in the game.
Typhon.
This game, or not game, but this card single-handedly won me, I'd probably say 65% of my matches against yugioh, because everyone would forget that Typhon's on board, and when they would forget, trying to activate detonators, pops and stuff, they'd sit there and argue with me, asking me why they can. I'd sit there and show them Typhon, and then we'd have to call a judge and everything else. And then they'd realize that Typhon's on my board and they can't activate detonator. But this card alone has won me about 65% of my matches in the region.
Nice. Nice work.
So yeah, we'll go into the side. So before I get into the side, my side was specifically made for Malice Hate. I absolutely cannot stand that deck. There's a couple tech cards that could be used for other decks and stuff like that, which you'll see, but I could not stand Malice a single bit. But
it's anime girl math mech.
It is. It literally is. We have the 3 thrusts, 1 talent.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like this ratio was perfectly fine. I feel thrust all the time, every time that I put it into my deck, with a 42 main deck count. Seen it just about every single hand going first or second. We have the Malice Hate, 3 Lancia.
3 Lancia, there it is.
We have the Artifact Sanctum for me going first.
Just more access to Lancia, just because why not? Why not?
Pretty much, yep. Because not a lot of people know that Lancia is not once per turn. We have the Phantasmes, because we want more draw power to get to the Lancia going against Malice.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I know that I'm going second, which a lot of the time that I did, we would put the Phantasmes, leave the Lancias in, and then we put the Moltres back into the deck. So that way we just have a maximum amount of draw power to see the Lancia. And then we have just more thrust targets. My buddy who I playtest with, his name's Michael, he suggested that I put in the 2 Lightning Storms, and good call by him, because during one of my matches against Malice, all I had was 1 card, like I think it was a Lacrima, I believe. Normal summon Lacrima, and then they did some stuff with their Malice stuff. They banished my Lacrima, and then I activated Thrust, grabbing the Lightning Storm, and then I was able to wipe out their whole board. And then they go to their turn, they top decked, and it was literally nothing that they could use, so they passed it back to me, and then I top decked in the Hydra.
Nice work, dude.
Yeah, so, and then D-barrier for like going first against Raju and stuff to stop their XYZ plays.
Konami, if you're listening to this, please ban D-barrier if possible. Anyways,
yeah, that's pretty much the deck profile.
Really solid, man. Do you want me to leave a link to your deck profile in the description, like the dueling book, something like that? Yeah. All right, I'll set that up for you. So anyone who wants to try out his deck profile, in their own upcoming regionals, I'll leave a link to it down below. Any social media or anything he wants me to shout out? Any other shout outs before we end this video off, Adam?
Just shout out to the people that I playtest with: Ray, Michael, Tyler. Shout out to my buddy Paul, who I told you about earlier, who would travel me from pretty much from Kansas all the way to Indianapolis and all over the place. Shout out to Jared for playtesting with me. Shout out to the whole Kansas community. Other than that, yeah, shout out to my wife for being so supportive with me and cheering me on as I'm going through the regional.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, other than that, that's all my shout outs. I really appreciate you allowing me to tell you my story, and hopefully people get inspired to never give up and keep grinding if they're still trying to go for their first invite ever.
Oh yeah, anyone who's watching this, keep trying, guys. There's always a chance for you to top at any tournament. So yeah, anyways, Adam, I appreciate you sharing your story today. Once again, huge congratulations to you being the underdog at this tournament, making top 8 with a very slept on deck that people have started to realize. And I wish the best for you going with your friends to nationals and any other future tournaments you have coming up. If you have any questions, just hit me back up. But to everyone else watching this channel, this is not the end of the profile. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and you guys have a nice night.